Hello and welcome to the next video of my LPL Spring Split 2023 preview series. JDG is definitely different than IG earlier today, huh? If you're new to this series, there's going to be a playlist at the end that you can click on or go on my channel and you'll see all the videos for all the teams. But JDG is a lot different than IG, and I think that's pretty obvious if you've been paying attention this offseason. This is that hot ticket team, the one that really just built a super team out of Eastern players and on paper is the best team in the world. Last year, JDG had went 25-7, 30-14 at the LDL level, went to Worlds, were considered by some, including myself at times, as being the best team in the world at that time. They have improved from that team, going with Knight and Ruler at mid lane and AD carry, allowing Yagao to go to BLG and Hope to leave to go to Team World Elite. So the coach is Home. Home's been around a long time. He's 130 wins, 84 losses, and 7 ties over his career as a coach. That dates back all the way to maybe 2015. He's been around the block. That's a good thing. You have a coach that has been around good players before, has seen a lot of things, and this roster is going to need an experienced coach to kind of keep it in line, I think. Otherwise, the roster could potentially rule itself, because it really is. It's excuse me. It's exceptional. You have a top 2 player in the world in 4 roles. 369. I mean, arguably top 2 for me, top 3. Some people might have him first. Kanavi, top 2. Knight, top 2. Ruler, top 2. Missing. In some, I had him in my top 5 this past split. And currently, a very good Enchanters player. If the meta shifts back to Engage, where will he be? We'll see. So, definitely a team that has all the right pieces, but I do think is going to have some speed bumps in spring, and people are going to get a little off kilter by it because they're going to think this team should go 16-0, and on paper, it is capable of that. But theoretically, let's be within reason. There's going to be issues. You're in a situation where you're going to have players playing in different roles than they have in the past, because you have 369. Like, somebody has to take the fall every game on this team. Somebody isn't getting the counter pick. Somebody's going to have to, the opposite of counter, but blind outright and say to themselves, okay, I'm the dog this game, and I'm the one that's not going to get the limelight. Like, 369 is a star. Kanavi is a carry. Knight is a carry. Ruler can play weak side, but is a carry. Missing. He's a support, so he's not supposed to carry. But he may not be able to have counter pick now. Like, what if Knight wants counter? Like, it's going to be a lot of things going on with this team. So I do not expect spring to be this team's come up and peak. It's going to be summer. I think spring, I wouldn't be shocked if Top Esports has the edge in spring. We'll get into that when I do my power rankings. But the way I see it, JDG have to work some things out. Ruler is not used to playing with a high octane jungler like Kanavi. Knight is not used to playing with a jungler like Kanavi, where he takes a little bit more than what their junglers used to take. Tian and Peanut are not like Kanavi. They play completely different versions of the game in the same role. 369, he can do a little bit of everything, but on this team, he may just be the weak side top laner playing Ornn, Gragas, things like that all the time because he's just filling out the lineup. Like 369 GP, just if you pick it now, all of a sudden, like, what are you doing with Knight? Like, what's Knight playing? Like, what's Ruler playing? Like everything changes and does that. Is that best in slot when it comes to champions for these players. So it's going to be definitely something interesting to see how Home works it out and how these players work it out. So 369, 21 years old, had a 4.3 KDA, 8.4 CS per minute, 64.1 KP, 624 damage. Excuse me, damn it. 624 damage per minute, 25.8 damage share. That is hefty. That's more than what Doran was putting up with Ruler. 22 gold share, 11 champions in 42 games. Gangplank, Nar Sejuani. Like I said, well, that gangplank might not be as common anymore with a team like this. Nimrod is the backup, 215 KDA, 798 CS per minute, 51.3 KP. He is not ready for the LPL. 680 damage per minute, deals a lot of damage, but dies quite a bit, doesn't farm well, doesn't get ahead in his matchup, doesn't get into a lot of fights. It doesn't vibe. 21 9 gold share, 9 champions in 18 games. Jace and Graves were his 2 most played champions last summer. Kanavi at 22 years old is the Canyon is like right now, after Worlds, obviously Worlds affecting this, Canyon took the #1 spot in the world in the jungle, right? But it's like a 1A, 1B situation. And Kanavi is probably the best carry jungler in the world, but Canyon can do the facilitators better than Kanavi can. 5.5 KDA, 6.3 CS per minute, 72.5 KP. You are looking at a player that is farming arguably 1 CS or more better than players that are getting into as many fights as him. So he is facilitating, getting involved as much as everybody else, but also is ahead in farm massively. He gaps his opponents. He's farming throughout the entire game, which is different than what Knight and Ruler are used to. Peanut and Tien, they might go under 5 CS per minute and stop farming after reaching level 6 or reaching, whenever, and saying, okay, we're in the mid to late game here, I'm not farming anymore. Not necessarily for Kanavi. Kanavi is going to get his. Kanavi's the type of jungler that says, you know what, I'm going to tax your wave a bit. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Like, Kanavi is a carry. He is not a facilitator. 433 damage per minute, 17.5 damage share, 20 gold share, which is 2 to 3% higher than we see for a lot of facilitator junglers. 10 champions in 42 games, Viego, Wukong, Lee Sin. Maggie is the backup at 22 years old, 409 KDA, 538 CS per minute, 66.2 KP. So like I said, not ready. We compare those to Kanavi's numbers. He's already 1 CS per minute less and gets into 6% less fights at a lower level of play. So he is definitely not there yet. And at 22 years old, he may never get there. 291 damage per minute, 18.8 gold share, 8 champions, 36 games. Viego, Wukong, Poppy. ZZX is the third stringer at 19 years old at a 459 KDA, 579 CS per minute, 66.9 KP. These all occurred in spring. He was replaced by Maggie in summer. These occurred in 2021. He did not play a lot last year in either split. Don't really know why. 337 damage per minute, 18.7 gold share, 5 champions in 11 games. Diana and Rumble were his most played during that 11-game window. So they gave him a look. Still have him under contract, but Maggie has the job. Honestly, at this point, like I said, Maggie may be what he is, and ZZX may be the guy that they should be going with. In mid lane, we have Knight. Knight I have as #2 in the world, in my opinion. 22 years old, set a real tone for top esports last year and over the years, putting up a 10 KDA, which is something we hadn't seen since I think 2015 in the LPL. So a very dominant performance. I thought he did fine at Worlds. A 9 CS per minute, so he's getting ahead in his matchup. 72.7 KP, 612 damage per minute, 26 damage share, 22.9 gold share. Knight is elite. 13 champions in 38 games. Ari, Silas, and Talia, his 3 most played champions. LZQ was used as a substitute during the Demacia Cup. Those are the only 3 games he ever played, so I didn't include him because my sample size has to be 10 games to be worth talking about. Otherwise, it's just 3 games, and really, what are we going to make up out of 3 games? But that's a real questionable decision that they went with him instead of Insulator in mid lane for such a tournament. I know it's preseason and all, but it definitely seemed odd. Insulator at 22 years old, 669 KDA, 835 CS per minute, 68.7 KP, So almost there, but like Maggie, may never get there. 663 damage per minute, 22.3 damage, 22.3 gold share, sorry. 11 champions in 39 games, Ari, Azir, and Silas. Needs to make he and Maggie have to take the next step this split. They really have to step it up. There's a reason why JDG did not even bother considering. They went with Knight and in the mid lane here. JDG did well last year down in the LDL Joy Dream. 30 and 14 is not something to scoff at. Like, that's clearly a winning formula they have, but it seems like individually the players may not be at that level yet for the LPL. Ruler, 24 years old, coming from Gen G, 7.6 KDA, 9.5 CS per minute, 71.2 KP, 672 damage per minute, 29.5 damage share, 24.4 gold share, 12 champions in 40 games. Zeri, Jinx, and Lucian were his most played champions. Definitely going to be something interesting, right? So we're going with Ruler missing. Missing is not Lehens. In that I don't think he's as old as Lehen, so maybe lacks a bit of experience. Missing has never played with a AD carry like Ruler. Hope it was an Inter big time, so this is going to be definitely something different from Missing, which we'll get into. But Ruler is very, very good. He's definitely not going to be a reason for this team's issues to at all. 1XN, 18 years old, is the backup. 4.8 KDA, 923 CS per minute, 66.7 KP, 677 damage per minute, 24.5 damage share, 10 champions in 39 games. I think this guy's pretty good. At 18 years old, definitely has room to grow. And these numbers are solid. The team did well with him at the helm in that role at such a young age. So if he can take the next step this year, you see a player like Ruler, who definitely was disappointed leaving Gen G. I don't know how long this contract is. I'm sure somebody will say, maybe we see the future for JDG at the AD carry position is in 1XN. Jinx, Aphelios, and Ezreal are his 3 most played champions. As support, like I said, we have Missing, 21 years old, 493 KDA, 73 KP, 13 champions, 42 games. Nautilus, Lulu, Renata. Very good Enchanters player, did very well at Worlds, tried to carry Hope, could not do it. Definitely a very, very good player in the LPL playoffs. This team is fine with him in the support role. But Fang is the backup, 545 KDA, 75.3 KP, 14 champions, 34 games. In summer, definitely a guy that looks like he's capable of being in the LPL as well. These numbers are definitely not something to scoff at, alongside a young, I said young choice, but just like a raw player at 18 years old. This guy's doing very well. 3 out of every 4 kills, he has his fingerprints on him in some way. Big champion pool with 14 champions. Renata, Karma, and Lux. So a little different there. Karma and Lux, not your normal enchanters that you would have expected up there, like the Lulu, like the Nami and things like that, or Yumi, stuff like that we saw in summer. Feather played in spring, 19 years old, 3.54 KDA, 62.1 KP, 7 champions, 32 games. Very different, right? These stats are very different. Different meta, Nautilus, Leona, Rakan. We're looking at engaged meta. But at the same time, 13.2% less fights, died a lot more. So, not the same guy. Could see why he was replaced. 19 years old. I mean, there's still growth there, right? He's not at 22 years old anymore, where he, is kind of limited on his development. So we'll see what JDG does with these players at the support role. There's definitely things to look at for the future for them, but the time is now for a lot of the fans and a lot of pundits and anybody really in LOL esports. They know that this team is definitely the super team this year. There's high expectations. There's been high expectations for 369 and Kanavi for a long time, Knight for a long time. Ruler's already gotten it done, but those other 3 players have not. So it is a big deal. So Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, like it, subscribe to the channel, hit the playlist that pops up around me so you can watch the other videos. Become a member. $3 a month keeps the lights on. $10 a month keeps the lights on. Plus, you get extra content. In January, I'll start doing my prediction videos when it comes to the day before games are scheduled for the $10 tier. Follow me on Twitter, join the Discord, and thank you for watching.